Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It is Thursday, May the 21st. I'm Andrew Gagan. Well, the local market is set to rally this morning with ASX futures up almost 1.25%. Global equity markets were lifted amid reports of a new agreement to end the war in the Middle East. And on Wall Street, the main indices bounced back from a three-day sell-off with a boost in sentiment from tech and chip stocks ahead of Nvidia's quarterly results, with the AI chip maker and the world's most highly valued company regarded as a bellwether for the AI thematic. And it failed to disappoint yet again, with its shares closing up 1.3% in extended trade as it forecast second quarter revenue of $91 billion, that's above Wall Street expectations, and announced an $80 billion share buyback program. The company is also boosting its quarterly cash dividend to 25 cents a share, up from 1 cent. Elsewhere, consumer staples slipped, with shares in retailer Target down as it warned of a challenging macroeconomic backdrop, even as it doubled its annual sales growth forecast, and that dragged shares of Walmart lower, which is due to report results tomorrow. Falling oil prices boosted sentiment around airline stocks, with Delta, United and Southwest all gaining altitude. And the cruise companies, Carnival and Norwegian, led the discretionary sector higher. Accounting software firm Intuit fell on reports that it's laying off around 3,000 employees. And SpaceX has revealed its IPO filing, with the listing poised to become the first $1 trillion US market debut, while ChatGPT maker OpenAI, which is valued around $850 billion, is preparing to file an IPO in the coming weeks, according to reports, adding to a wave of mega listings anticipated this year, including Anthropic. Well, President Trump has said the United States was ready to proceed with further attacks on Iran if it did not agree to a peace deal, but suggested he was willing to wait a few days to get the right answers. The president saying the situation was right on the borderline and could escalate quickly. Meanwhile, Iran's newly created Persian Gulf Strait Authority has said there will be a controlled maritime zone at the Strait of Hormuz. It said transit through the area to pass through the strait would require coordination and authorization from the authority. This as Chinese tankers cleared the strait on Wednesday, while South Korea said a Korean tanker had crossed the strait in cooperation with Iran. And in the US, minutes from the Fed's April policy meeting showed a majority of members warned the Fed will likely need to consider raising interest rates if inflation continued to run persistently above their 2% target, with many members calling for it to drop its easing bias. Well, US Treasury yields fell along with oil prices on hopes of a deal to end the war. The US 2-year yield falling to 4.04%, the 10-year was at 4.57%. Australian 3-year government bond yields rose to 4.64%, and the 10-year at 5.02%. The US dollar index down around 0.33% on the day. The Aussie has climbed back above 71.5 US cents. Oil prices have fallen sharply after President Trump said the negotiations with Iran were in the final stages, although the market remained wary about the disruption to Middle East supply. Brent crude futures around 6% lower at $105 a barrel. Gold rose on hopes of a peace deal. Spot gold up 1% to $4,540 an ounce. Copper futures rose 2%, iron ore down 0.5% to 109 US a tonne, and Bitcoin is trading at around 77,000 US dollars. Ahead locally today, we get jobs data for April, and on the corporate calendar, quarterly update is expected from Goodman Group, and AGMs are due to be held for Karoon, Nine, Telix, Viva Energy, and Ventia. That is your day ahead. We'll see you again tomorrow.